Hello there, this is Ben Fournier, Benevolence et Decorum. Here's Proverbs 15:17 in cognitive functions. And yeah, I think the more I look at this, the more I think it's actually going along with Proverbs 15:16. It likely then the same type would be, well, person of the same type would be where it would derive per Solomon to catalog it from. But so if so, it would be INFP if I was right about it being INFP the last time. But yeah, look at this. Better, all that sort of stuff, and little, and dinner, so that's a general, and this is a particular, a thesis, a hypothesis. It's a parallelism. I forget the type. I know, like, when I was I was homeschooled, and there's Alpha Omega life packs that, I forget whether it's language arts or Bible study, but they went through types of parallelisms, and I don't remember this one in particularly. It went both through Proverbs and Psalms, but there's like 4 or 5 different types of parallelisms. I'm sure it can be looked up on, well, I wouldn't suggest Google anymore, but they might be able to still list it until it's also a wrong thing to look up anything from the Bible. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, yeah, it's probably going to be on INFP again, but I'll try to go through the other options just to see what there may be. But yeah, here's the verse though. Better, Tov, same word at least. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than stalled ox and hatred therewith. Compared to better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. So not entirely the same, but it's similar. You can see this, right? But let's go through the other translations, and here's a very literal syntax, Greek syntax-based translation of the Septuagint, which I find interesting. At some point I'd like to study Greek, but it's all Greek to me for now. Better, hospitality of vegetables with friendship and favor than fete of calves with hatred. Yeah, pretty much. Better a dinner of vegetables, so yeah, you can tell AFV, what was it, a faithful version, apparently went with Septuagint. That's their opinion of Septuagint being more faithful, even though the chronogenealogies don't line up, at least like having Lamech, the father of Noah, living after the flood, even though he wouldn't have been on the ark. But anyway, whatever though. Better is a dinner of vegetables where love is than a stalled ox and hatred with it. Better is a simple meal where love is than a fat ox and hate with it. Better a dish of vegetables where there is love than a fattened ox with hatred. A simple meal with love is better than a feast where there is hatred. It is better to be invited to herbs with love than to a fatted calf with hatred. It is better to eat a little where there is love than to eat a lot where there is hate. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fatted ox and hatred with it. And here's the actual Greek if anyone wants. KR, let's see, yeah, that's an EI, sigma, SS, Crison, interesting. Oh yeah, omega is O, and that's an N, interesting. Well, interesting grammatically or linguistically, but yeah. Better to have a dish of vegetables where there is love than juicy steaks where there is hate. Yep, and here's the Hebrew for that, Tob, and let's see, Aleph, Resh, yeah, that, or Ruka, interesting. So that's ration, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, a vegetarian meal served with love is better than a big thick steak with a plate full of animosity. Dun dun dun. Better is a dinner of vegetables where love is than a fatted calf and hatred therewith. Better is a dinner of herbs, and here's the same numbers with their particular translation in the 1787 redo of the 1611 thing there. But yeah, so there's those words there. And Melius, better as vocare ad holera cum car, you know, that's Latin. And I still need to study that more to actually, it's the same thing, just different languages. Better is an allowance of green herbs and love there. You know, this makes me think sort of Daniel, even though, you know, Daniel would have been, of course, after Solomon by, let's see, it was around 1000 BC or so for Saul and David, so around 900-ish, 950-ish for Solomon. And the Babylonian exile was like 586 BC, I think. The Assyrian capture of the northern kingdom was in the late 700s, and then the Babylonian one was the late 500s, well, early 500s, 580 something. So early 700s in that sense, how it's like negative numbers increasing by decreasing the numerical value. But yeah, of course that. Yeah, either way, this would be like half a millennium past that for Daniel. In the book there where it's like, we can't eat this food, it's not kosher, let us eat only green herbs kind of thing, and now you have a Daniel fast where it's like the Genesis 129 diet. Anyway though, better a meal of vegetables where there is love than a fatted ox where there is hatred. And I would like to study Russian more, but yeah, that's an L, that's in double O, CH, Lukshe, BL, that's like Soyut. Well, I mean, Soyut has that YO, Bludio, I can't read that enough. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is, but it's the same thing. And mejor es la comida de legumbres donde hay amor que de buey. And that's apparently the word for bull or ox. Engordado donde hay odio. Very odious. Yeah, this makes me think of like all those films featuring rich snobs where they're all at each other's throats or backstabbing each other. It's like, here's all this luxury, but you're surrounded by enemies. Yay! Yeah, that isn't anything different in this life, right? Yeah, same different, same deal. Alright, onward to the next part. What you wanna never be. Okay, here's my guess at the function type. It's, well, anchoring bias, INFP, I think. Yeah, better, hospitality, yada yada. It's, I do believe in moral judgment, although it may also pertain to sensory experiences one has as well. So if so, there'll be FI and SI, which would also go with, you know, for an INFP, FI hero, SI as the third function. Could it be another type? Let's see. Could it be NINSE? Yeah, it is an insight. There's nothing metaphorical sounding about it, though. You know, like how Jesus spoke in parables, that sort of thing. And he's usually typed as an INFJ, not that INFJs in particular are any closer to being like Christ than anyone else. It's just, you know, there's some really bad ones too, which would probably not be allowed to be mentioned, one of the most notable bad ones. But yeah, NE and SI, yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be SI. Like, they are about their own experience, somewhat at least. They're not particularly going about telling others what to do, either being, you know, heroic or parental about the wills of others necessarily, so that may not fit for SI necessarily. It could be SI hero, and in which case, flip those two, it's an ISTJ. But I don't know. Either way, if it's an INFP for the last one, it would be an INFP for this one, if it's the same, you know, parallelism of it. But, yeah, could it be FE and TI? Well, there is sort of a criticism of the emotions of others. This would be like a nemesis thing, I think, though, if it's going to be INFP. So yeah, if it would be that, then that. But, you know, after a point though, this is like seeing things into things, of course, so it can't be entirely certain. Everything is just a dart to be thrown. But my dart to throw here is INFP, or secondarily. But I think more likely it's going to be INFP rather than ISTJ. So that's my guess, INFP. Take care everyone, and try not to go crazy.